Hello YouTube, hello guys, you're welcome to another exciting day. You're welcome to my channel, you're welcome to YG Digital World. I am your host, Abu Joseph. So guys, on today's tutorial video, I'll be walking you through how I was able to achieve this birthday flyer design. Actually, this is a fictional birthday flyer design, okay? So on this tutorial, the major core for this tutorial has to do with creating of the background and the use of color to be precise, okay? So without further ado, let's dive into the design phase. So over here, I have to create the new file. Over here, I have the new document panel. In creating this design, I'll be making use of the Instagram portrait frame size, which is 1080 pixels by 1350 pixels. That is the unit of measurement for the Instagram portrait frame size. The resolution for this design will be set on 300. I'll be making use of the color mode of RGB because this content will be used on mobile devices and other desktop platforms as well. We leave other settings the way they are and hit on the create button. So over here we have the Canva workspace on which we'll be designing on. So the next step I would like to do is to drag in the exercise files I'll be using for this tutorial. So over here are the exercise files I'll be using for this tutorial, okay? So do well to check the video description. You'll find the link to the exercise files I use in creating this design, okay? And for bonus, I'll be giving out the PSD file for this tutorial. If you're interested, do well to watch through this video. I'll be attaching the link to the PSD file somewhere on this video, so do well to watch through the video, okay? So over here, I'll start by creating the background. I talked about the main core has to do with creating of background and use of colors to be precise, okay? So over here, I'll start by creating my background. I would like to hit Ctrl T on the keyboard, right click, and rotate this clockwise, okay? Hold Alt on the keyboard, left click and drag out. I'm actually making use of Photoshop 2023. That's the version of Photoshop I'm actually using. So after I'm done with that, I'll select this other image over here, hit Ctrl T, hold Alt, and scale it out like this. Okay. So after I'm done, I'll take this down this way and click the check button. That's for that, guys. So after I'm done with that, I'll come over here where I have this, select the layer, come to the filter and enable the Gaussian blur effects. And I'll be setting this as follows. Okay, 52.4 is the pixel radius for the Gaussian blur effect. So after I'm done with that, I'd like to apply a hue saturation adjustments. I click on hues and saturation over here and play with the saturation. I would like to give this a blue feel because the model will be working on has blue colors on her, to be precise, okay? So after I'm done with that, I would like to enable this and turn off this place. We are still working on the background, so I'll change the fill color for this to let me see, color dodge works perfectly well. So I would like to add adjustment layers to this. I'll come over here, enable the curve adjustments to this. Okay, I'm trying to add more depth to the background image, okay? Please take note that the curve adjustments are made up of 3 regions to be precise. Over here, we have the highlights, the middle regions are the midtones, the bottom edge side here are called the shadows, okay? So I would like to take this way like this, okay, adding more highlights to the background, okay? So after I'm done with that, I'll click over here where I have this, hit Ctrl Shift N on the keyboard to create a new layer and call this noise to be precise, and change the blending mode for this to soft light, enable the 50% gray option and click on the OK button. So I'll right click and convert this to a smart object. Come to the filter and add noise to be precise. I think this radius is good. I don't like the noise texture to be too heavy on the background, okay? So I'm done with that. So I'll select this layer which is visible, hold Shift, select this other layer, hit Ctrl G on the keyboard to actually group this. I'll call this BG, which stands for my background, okay? So after I'm done with that, take this up over here, enable the model image, okay? For the model image, I would like to work on the look of the model image. So I would like to sharpen the image by making use of the camera raw. So over here we have the camera raw. Okay, before working on the camera raw, I would like to create the before and after preset panel, make them visible so that you have a good preview of the before and the after retouching of the image. So on the basics here, I'll start by working on the texture, take the texture up this way and take the clarity about this radius is okay for that. So after I'm done with that, I'd like to come to details and add fill of details to this, scale up the sharpening, okay, for this, and noise reduction can be scaled up, okay. Noise reduction help to reduce the noising effects on the face of the model. So I'll go back to the basics as well and start working on the exposures and the rest of them. Okay, work on the contrasts, make sure I'm having a good contrast. Okay, the highlights, you work on them. This is more of an eyeballing situation. There are no actual rules governing how you go about this. You actually allow your eyes to guide you, so you know when you're overdoing over applying a particular adjustment to your image. Okay, so this is too dark. I think this video should be okay like this. The white, I like to reduce the white to a good radius like this. The black as well, I like to scale this down, work on the highlight as well, take it down more. Think this is actually good like this so far. So I'll click on the OK button. So this is the before and this is the after. Okay, in terms of that, we can still go further by double clicking and making a little adjustments to this. Okay, I can work on the highlights by adjusting it. So one of the benefits of converting your layer to a smart object. So if you right click and convert your layer to a smart object and you apply any filter or adjustment to a particular or on that particular layer, it will enable you to come back and make subsequent adjustments to that particular adjustment you applied to that particular layer. Okay, so that is what you just see when I clicked on the camera raw filter extension, to be precise. Okay, so after we're done with that, I'd like to hit Ctrl J to make a duplicate and take this around somewhere here like this, scale it down like this. Okay, scale it up rather and place it like this. Okay, add, for this I'll take this down like this, add the vector marks, turn off this please, add the vector marks to this layer, pick your gradients tool or pick your brush tool to be precise. Okay, press B on the keyboard to pick your brush tool. Use the open and close bracket key beside the P button to scale up the size of your brush. Okay, and make sure the flues and opacity are set to 100% respectively. The layer mask is selected and your foreground should be set on black. The black enables you to actually hide out things that you don't need. Okay, so I'll come over here and brush out gently like this. So after I'm done, I like to change the blending mode to a blending mode that will work perfectly well. I think this will work perfectly well, and I'll reduce the opacity to about 22%. Hit Ctrl J to make the duplicate of that layer. Ctrl T, right click and flip horizontally and place this image around somewhere here like this. That is in terms of that. I'm trying to create a good background. So after I'm done with that, come to the adjustments, add a curve adjustment layer and add more depth to this like this. Okay, so I'm adding more of shadow, that is dark shades to this. Okay, so after I'm done, select this layer, hold shift, select this, hit Ctrl G. Okay, I'll call this watermark. Okay, that is for that. So the next thing I would like to work is on the model image. So I'll hit Ctrl T, hold Alt, scale out and position this to the middle like this. I think this is okay like this. So after I'm done with this, I would like to add an adjustment layer of curve. This way, adding a little depth to the image, playing with the shadows and the highlights respectively. Click on the clip mark so that the effect will only affect only the model image, not the whole project. Okay, so come to the adjustment and add a color balance adjustment. Click on the clip mark so that the effect will only affect only the model image, to be precise. So over here we have different tones, and please take note that these color balances are made up of the CMYK and the RGB color scheme. Here we have the cyan, magenta, and the yellow. On this end, we have red, yellow, red, green, and the blues, which are the RGBs and the CMYK. So me going this way, I'm adding more red. Me going this way, I'm adding more cyan to the image. So I'll add a little feel of red to this image, a little feel of green effects to this, and add the shade of blue, okay, to this image, to be precise. So I will set this to about this radius is okay. Come to the highlights. I'm done with the midtones. Come to the highlights and boost up the reds as well. This is more of an eyeballing situation. There are no actual rules governing this. You allow your eyes to guide you to know when you're actually overdoing it. So on the shadows as well, we go this way, add a little feel to this, and I think this is okay like this. Okay, so after we are done, select this layer, hold shift, select the model layer, hit Ctrl G to group them, and you can call this celebrant. Okay, add a vector mask, hit G on the keyboard to select your gradient tool. Okay, make sure the foreground is set on black and this is set on white, and make sure you are working with the linear gradient. So come over here, left click and drag up, holding shift this way, left click, hold shift and drag up this way to blur out some of the part of the image. Okay, so place this way like this. Okay, so after we are done with that, I'd like to scale up the size of this. Okay, so I'd like to scale up the size for this to this size. Okay, so after we are done, I want to go further by start placing other set of information. But before doing that, come to view, guides, and set up the guides layout. So I'll set my guides layers as follows with these parameters. Okay, and I'm okay. So I will enable my logo mark over here. I'll drag and position this around somewhere here like this, to be precise. Okay, that is in terms of that. So we are good to go. So the next thing, pick the text tool and place in your information over here. Okay, so I'll start by placing in the name of the celebrant, which is Daniela. Okay, so I'll left click and place in the name of the celebrant over here. I'll be making use of a font called Bella Script Regular, CY Regular to be precise. Okay, reduce the space between this, Ctrl T to transform it out. So you hold left Ctrl T, transform, and position this around here. Scale this down and place this around somewhere here like this. Okay, that is in terms of that. So the next thing, I would like to also select this text, come over here and change this to the same font, which is Bella Scripts over here. Reduce this to about -10. Okay, adjust the leadings, that is the space between text on the vertical axis. Ctrl T on the keyboard, and you can choose to place this information around somewhere here like this. Okay, so after you're done with that, you also come over here, turn off your guides. Okay, Ctrl T, I've checked. I'll be making use of the Montserrat font for this particular text. So for this, I'll reduce the tracking to 0. Okay. For this, I will change this to medium. I think that's okay. Ctrl T, hold Alt. Scale this down rather manually. Scale this down, and I think we are good to go like this. Okay. Ctrl H. So I pick the move tool. Adjust this. Ctrl A. Pick the move to align the text to the middle. While for the blissful birthday text, scale it down and adjust this manually like this. Okay, so after you're done with that, you pick your text tool and copy out this line of text. Okay, so I'd like to adjust the size of the text by using my character panel to be precise. In a situation where you don't have your character panel over here, you can enable your character panel from your Windows and click on character panel to be precise, and Ctrl T over here, and what else? Clockwise. No, Ctrl Z, right click, anti-clockwise, that is counterclockwise. Will work perfectly well, and can scale this down this way and position this text around somewhere here like this. Ctrl H to hide this. Okay, so you can choose to place it around here like this. Okay, so after you're done with that, I'd like to make adjustments to this. So I will hit X on the keyboard to invert my foreground color. So I can switch to black and white by hitting X on the keyboard to switch from one foreground to other. To set this on white, the foreground should be on white. Then come to where you have the layer marks of the model, hold Alt and backspace to actually auto fill up the vector marks with the white. Okay, so I'll switch this back to black over here. Make sure this is selected. Pick the gradients to Ctrl minus and left click and drag this way. Okay, this is making more sense this way, like this. Okay, so I can choose to select this set of text, increase the size, and position it around somewhere here like this. So the next thing I'd like to do here is to group them together. So I'll call this name. So I will delete this other layer. So after I'm done with that, turn on the guides, pick your ellipse tool. You can right click and select the ellipse tool. The keyboard shortcut is U on the keyboard. So I'll select this, left click, hold shift and drag to create a perfect circle. Okay, come to the swatches and sample this color to be precise. Here is the hex code for the color I'm using over here. So after I'm done with that, come over here and change the blending mode to overlay to be precise. Enter, Ctrl D to deselect, and position this around here like this. Make a duplicate by hitting Ctrl J. Okay, Ctrl T to transform, hold Alt and scale it out like this. Okay, select the ellipse to turn off the fill and enable the stroke to be precise. So for the stroke, you scale it up to a good size like this. I think this is okay like this, and select both layers, scale them down, and we are good to go for that. Okay, that's it. That is in terms of that. Pick the text to come back over here. Come over here where you have the ellipse, left click and type in the date, which is 25th May. to be precise. So I'll select the whole text, come to the character panel, return the tracking to 0. Okay. After I'm done with that, I would like to change the fill color to white. For this as well, I would like to change this to regular. I'm trying to create contrast among my text as well. For this, I would like to make this more visible. Okay, and make sure the text is using the central align method. Adjust the lead inside the space between the text and the vertical axis. Okay, hold Ctrl on your keyboard, move your mouse pointer to where you have the ellipse on your layer panel. You'll notice your mouse pointer changes to an hand icon like this. Left click this way to select that region. Okay, make sure this layer is still selected. Pick your move tool, align horizontally and vertically into the middle of the shape. Ctrl D to deselect, Ctrl T, left click, and we are good to go, guys. So can still choose to select the layers and group them together and call this dates. Okay, so I can scale this down like this, and so for this as well, I can still choose to adjust the stroke size a little bit. Think we are good to go, guys. That is in terms of that. Ctrl D, Ctrl H to hide, and this is how the project has been looking so far. Okay, that is in terms of that. So after I'm done with that, I would like to add a fill of color lookups to the finishing touch. So I'll come to the adjustments, add a color lookup adjustment over here, and select a color lookup of your choice. Okay, so you can play with any of the color lookup and see how it's actually looking. Okay, so the main goal of this design has been achieved. To be precise, we created the background using the image and using the image of the celebrants, creating the background. Okay, we also sampled color from the image of the model of the celebrants to also create this. Okay, so also make use of good font style for a typography, to be precise. I think this is actually looking nice. So ladies and gentlemen, we have actually come to the end of today's tutorial. Okay, if you do find this tutorial helpful in one way or the other, do well to give it a like, do well to smash the like button, guys. If you have any question, any comments, you can leave your questions in the comment section. If you are new to the channel and you are yet to subscribe, do well to smash the subscribe button. Smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching. Do well to watch through this video. I'll be attaching the link to the PSD file. Okay, so thank you guys for watching and see you in the next.